Number 7 is the same exact thing we saw in number 1. We have to figure out what our pattern is, which in this case is subtracting 3. We continue that to find 3 more terms, so then we'd be at 5, 2, -1. We find our general term, which means recognizing that subtraction is an arithmetic, and we're going to use this formula. And then just plugging and chugging. So first term is 17 plus n minus 1 times that -3. And again, you could have put the negative out in front. You also could have written this more like an equation for a line. It could have been 20 minus 3n. Lots of different ways. Only thing that I see students make a mistake on is not leaving an n here for me to be able to plug in. And then the sum of the first 10 terms, well, if we recognize we're dealing with an arithmetic, then we know the S formula is going to be Sn is equal to n a1, a1 plus an over 2. And so in this case, our n is 10. A1 is still that 17. I have to go figure out A10, so I'm going to leave that blank, and this is all over 2. Remember, whenever we use the Sn formula, we're going to have to go figure out this. So we'll go back up to this formula and go, okay, well, A10 is equal to the first term minus 10 minus 1 times that -3, or plus 10 minus 1 times that -3. Or we keep going on this little term until we get to the 10th one, because we're already at 7. According to this formula, plus 10 minus 1, -3. We're at -10, which makes sense given the way things were going, right? We're going to get further and further negative. And then we can do this calculation. Again, you can do it in stages. You can do it all at once. Looks like we're going to get 35. You also could have done this one using the sum function on your calculator. Nothing here said you had to use the formula. So I could have gone into math to sum, and I wanted to sum the first 10 terms. Oops, that's not 10. Terms, and we know what the general term is because that's what we just did. 17 plus input minus 1 times that -3. And it'll do that same math for us.